Good morning, IGHC. I have to say, I am impressed. All of you get a gold star on your record because I suspect that some of you came straight from the bar to come here. It's amazing to see as many of you here and awake. And I'm glad I'm not, that I'm not the first one, because I'm sure there'll be some nodding heads as the morning goes on. It really was a super night, and I think we all need to thank our hosts, Qatar Airways, for an incredibly nice evening. Join me. It had a little something for everybody. It was good food, lots of adult refreshments, and some dancing and music and excitement. And there's nothing like that, again, to help solidify the IGHC spirit. We really do owe a lot for the success of this meeting to Qatar Airways, CAS, but also all the other sponsors that have helped us with the event. And without their support, without your support, this would be a meeting in a meeting room in Geneva or Montreal, with bare walls and no fun. So again, I think we have to thank all the people that have contributed to the sponsors that we have. And so I'd like to ask that you join me in giving them a round of applause as well. We have a little special something to start the morning, and I'd like to ask Joseph Sweden to come up here and say something.
Thanks, John. Thanks. Good morning. I don't know my voice, so please don't be shocked if I scream too much again, but I think it's a better thing after such a party that my voice go lower and lower and lower. I thank you very much, John, our dear delegates in here in this room, for such exciting, event. It gives me a little bit of worries, right? How this bar has been raised to the highest, And in solidarity to that, yesterday I wear the colors of Qatar Airways, the red. And today, I decided to wear CAS colors. So bear with me. Qatar Aviation Services, Qatar Airways. We couldn't been in any better venue. We couldn't been in any better place than Doha, Qatar. The generosity, the warm welcoming in here, amazing. I have no words to express more than that. Thank you, dear delegates, for being with us. It was a challenging year for us, to move on. Before I continue my presentation, there will be a presentation today. There is something I would like to tell you, that in my past years as ramp rat, I am a ramp rat, sorry, but I work on the ground and ground handling. I come from this sector of my life that I have spent it with pride. Why? Because I loved it. Why? Because I dirty my hands and I moved on to bring to the future the knowledge I hope I can give, I can land. But honestly, I was speaking to a special person who is in this room today. You are all special, but I worked with him in Air Canada when I was handling my previous airlines, both Royal Jordanian and Austrian. And I came across Mark Brown. Mark, he worked together. He was my Air Canada. He was at that time Air Canada, doing ground handling. We worked together. We had so many challenges and opportunities in everything. Being station manager, and Mark was the ground handling. And we really faced a lot of challenges. And to my surprise, to see Mark here at the IGHC after so many years, that with a great achievement, look how the world brought us back together. you know. Mark left Air Canada and he acquired a company, and guess what company it is? Ground handling. And he called it Strategic Aviation Holdings, based in Vancouver. Mark looked at the future of the ground handlers and he said, okay, I'm gonna make a ground handling company, and his devotion and ideas went straight into standardization and a global standardization. And he looked how he can bring safety and efficiency to such a high standard in our industry. So Mark, with his company, follow up on one of IATA initiatives, a strong one, ISAGO. Mark is the first Canadian ground handler to go in completing the ISAGO certification. Can you please join me to call Mark Brown to the stage? Mark is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Strategic Aviation Holding, based in Vancouver. Mark? Good to see you. After all, when we all meet, we always consider ourselves under this roof a family. Ground handling is one family, airlines and ground service providers. Thank you, Mark. I leave the microphone for you.
Thank you, Joseph. He is right. It was a challenge at times. Joseph would come to me, and as customers do, being very demanding for all the right reasons. But it was a relationship that we built on trust. I knew what he wanted, and as long as you delivered as a ground handler, it was acceptable to him. But we built a great, strong relationship that's lasted 20 years for it. We're very proud to be part of the ISAGO family now. It has taken us, as you all know, it's a lot of work, but it's our future. We see the IGOM as our standard. We see our training being done based on ISAGO and based on the IGOM. And we're very pleased. We're at 22 bases in Canada, and we're very pleased to get all 22 bases lined up so that we're all ISAGO across all the bases. So it's an honor to be here. Joseph, thank you. And we're very pleased for my entire SA family to be part of the ISAGO registry. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. No, stay please. The ceremony is not finished yet. I've reached out to reach our colleagues in Montreal. I have reached to contact Monika Mistrikova. She's the head of ground operations audits in charge of the ISAGO program. And happen to have in here one of her team, Sunny Bhatt. He works also in the ISAGO supporting team. And I would like to call on Sunny to come to the stage and join me giving Mark his certification on ISAGO on here. Mark, Sunny. Mark, all the best. Thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. This is yours. Thanks. You too. Thank you. Thank you. What's your steps? Thank you very much.
That's kind of a nice way to start the Wednesday, with a recognition like that. Congratulations, Mark, to you and your team. So let's take a moment to think back to yesterday, not the drinks and the dancing, but really what we did in here and in the conference yesterday. We were focused on operations. We started out by listening to Cass talk about how they actually have a role model operation right here at Doha, handling a lot of customers, a lot of airplanes safely and with high technology. We heard about how technology can be used and all the things of sensors and automation to help us prevent aircraft damage, as well as to make it safer for our colleagues to work on the airport ramp. We had an interesting discussion on the challenges of airport management, which was followed by a good presentation on the challenges of ground service providers and the role that ASA plays to meet those challenges. We had some afternoon sessions, again, smaller groups, which helped us do more interaction, less formal than the sessions in this room. We looked at safety statistics on aircraft damage, both incidents as well as cost. Cargo, how are we doing cargo today, and how are we planning for doing cargo in the future? We looked at IGOM, and both talked about the need for standardization as well as how to accommodate the flexibility that appears to be needed to get IGOM accepted despite individual carriers' unique requirements, let's put it that way. And then finally, we had a session on the innovative products that we have available that can help support our operation today. Now, today is all about innovation and technology. We're going to look at both above the wing as well as below the wing and do it in two separate sessions. And we're going to hear those winners of the IGHC Innovation Competition. And that's I guess, what I'm looking forward to the most for today. So with that, what I want to do is to call Joseph again back up to the stage. He's going to moderate a panel on Next and the ramp of the future. Joseph, it's yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, John, again. Yeah, I think the party last night energized me a lot, to stand up back again despite the voice. Again, bear with me to go to another topic in our industry, which is very, very important topic. We are talking here about the Next, and IATA is full of acronyms. It's not Next what we're going to present. It is Next what is called the new experience in travel and technology, ramp of the future. Since being a ramp rat, I think ramp of the future attracts me, entices me, and that's where we're going to be moving on. Why? Why we really need to talk about it right now? Of course we need to talk about it. Of course we really need to follow the ancestor footsteps on that part. When the Wright brothers thought how they're going to be building aircraft and how they're going to be moving, they created eventually an industry to grow. And manufacturers to look how they're going to develop their economics. And then we moved in the 70s, I believe, when the deregulation came, and the regulation have shaken our industry. Low prices created, of course, more travel, enticed a lot of movement, encouraged the ground handling sector to grow, and competition all over the place. What this translated on? Increases in frequencies, increases of passenger flow, increases of demands, and giving services. We like that. It moved. We all know airlines made the world smaller. They brought us together. And with them, as Qatar Airways slogan always say, we go places together. And this is the right slogan I've ever seen. The terminology of it is so strong. But if we look at ourselves, we look, how are we going to build our future and where we should be looking? Are we on a race? Of course we are. So since the 70s, when the growth of passengers and the evolution of ground support equipment starting on the rise, created three things that attracts, or shaken our industry, where we look at the fuel prices, we look at the airport charges, and we look at the ground handling cost. Of course, airport charges has to move because a lot of airlines need to serve many airports around the world. We need to work on our airports. And the airline cost with the competition, starting to be a fierce competition, end of the day, who paid the price, the ground handling with the low cost. So we start squeezing our ground handling. We got busy, really busy, in how are we going to sustain, be reliable, be stable, and how are we going to move this industry up. The only thing we can do that is when we start looking at the future and what the future is hiding for us. IATA predicts billions of passengers that will be flying till 2036 or 2040 or 2050. And what are we going to be doing? With that growth, with that airport, with the infrastructure, where are we going to go? And how are we going to build it up? This session, what we're going to be hearing in here, where we're going to be talking, it brings us to that stream. Of course, the Wright brothers got the sparks in aviation. They built the streams and they moved on with it. And that's where we are right now with modern fleet, big airports. But this is now. This is what we're dealing with it now. How can we embrace the future? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me start calling on the panelists. They're going to help me out in here, and we really need to listen to them, and they do have a couple of presentations. They're going to be leading us onto that. So let me start on calling first my colleague from IATA, Anne Carnal. She is program manager, and Anne has a job to do and a task, an objective to work on the future airports, and that also embrace ramp of the future as well.